Oh my, you're taking me out of the ordinary. I want you laying me down to a dead and buried.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. Is it that we ate already? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Are you all happy to be here today? Yes. Great. So I am going to go against all of the, listen, the worst thing to do is to pay for protocol. Because after you pay for the protocol training, you then do the thing that you know you are not supposed to do, yeah? And I am going to stand on the already established protocols, even though the dear lady and gentleman told us that we should not be doing it every time. But I want to ask you, tell me, why do you do what you do? All of you, think about it. Why do you do what you do? As nursing professionals, as administrative staff, as board of directors, as media people, as communications people, why do you do what you do? I'm seeing the whispers. Let me tell you why I do what I do. I remember being a public health student. Before being a public health student, I remember leaving home one day and going up to our health facility because I got hit in my eye or something. And at the end of the mantis, this was years and years and years ago. I won't say at least 30 years because I refuse to be that old, but it was about that time. And I remember going up to the old forts, having the doctor look at my eye, getting the prescription, waiting a while, interacting with nurses, and that kind of thing. And then I realized that though the healthcare system was good, it still needed to be better. It was actually the reason I decided to become a doctor. When I left Tobago, the plan was to become a neurosurgeon. And then I got to the United States and figured out that becoming a medical doctor may not have been the best idea because the way my stomach feels when I am interacting with people who are in pain, it would not have worked. It really would not have worked. But then I figured out what public health was, and that public health was ensuring that we provide a safe and health space for our populations. When I was finished with bachelor's, master's, and finally the doctoral degree in behavioral and community health sciences, during that transition, I was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I started at every level because I knew that I ultimately needed to come back home. I started at every level, downsizing where I lived. At the end of the period, having graduated with the doctoral degree, I was in a studio apartment. And the studio apartment was so big that when you opened the door, if you slipped, you would have fallen into my bed. And right after I got the certificate in my hand, I left the United States without even going to the graduation ceremony and I came home. Now, I asked you, why do you do what you do? Because I want you to understand why I do what I do. The first time I met Mr. Stewart, you remember that day? I am sure members of the media were there because it should have been a protest outside of the Division of Health, Wellness, and Social Protection, where Mr. Stewart and the Nursing Association reps from Tobago showed up. And the question that I was asked is, security and administrator and other people, what should we do? And I said, well, they're here. Let's have the conversation. And we had the conversation back then. And I told him back then that this was something that I committed to doing. Because one, I couldn't understand why the policy was reversed in the first place. It may have actually been the first time it dawned on me that this is a decision that nurses were being forced to make. And somebody with a 15-year career, simply because you got a promotion, you now have to give up that 15-year career to get a 3-year contract. That simply did not make sense to me. Why do you do what you do? We took a while to get a board of directors. But when that happened, they will tell you that in the orientation session, there were several key things. We needed a structure of the organization because we needed to ensure that every member of staff was accounted for on one side, and we needed to ensure that the Tobago Regional Health Authority was an organization that was structured in a way that makes sense. That process is happening as we speak. The other included strategic planning, because we couldn't just get up every day and do things by VAPs. Or we shouldn't just get up every day and do things by VAPs. That process is also happening. And one of the other top priorities, let me give you another one. One was the fact that for you to do your job as nurses, you needed to know what was wrong with the clients. And therefore, we needed to spend some money getting the kinds of diagnostic tools that are needed for you to determine what is wrong with the patient. And now that we know what is wrong, you can now act. That is one of the reasons we've spent close to about 60 million when you look at all of the different parts together on ensuring that the Tobago Regional Health Authority has the pieces of equipment that's needed. Why do you do what you do? When I got the call a couple weeks ago indicating that the HR department was finally ready, it was possibly the best day of my life. Because I believe that for you to do what you do, there needs to be a level of dignity, there needs to be a level of consistency, and there needs to be a level of humanity that allows you to get up every day and run into the dungeon that you run into, which is the healthcare system. And for that, I insisted that this become a reality. I want to personally thank the entire HR department. And you all give them a round of applause. Because there were many reasons why it couldn't happen. Many reasons why everyone could have just thrown their hands up in the air and say, it can't happen, it's too difficult, so we will continue as we were. But they knew why they do what they do. To the CEO who jumped in and held firm to that request. And I would use the word request because request is such a nice, polite word. It really is a nice, polite word. It was a little more than a request. It was you're doing your work or you ain't doing your work. You're ready to be employed or not be employed. And you like being employed. So, each of us has to continue finding out why we do what we do. I'm not going to be long up here. I just need to say to all of you, every single one of you, I truly see you as the backbone of this healthcare system. And because you are the backbone of this healthcare system, you need to be comfortable when you come into this healthcare system. You need to know that your decision to become whatever kind of nurse it is was the correct decision. And you need to know that even though I may not know each of you individually, and even though I may not know your name individually, from the bottom of my heart, I love each and every one of you. And because that is how I feel, and because I know why I do what I do, even though individuals started whispering, you know, if you give them permanency, they're going to start to misbehave. Ignored that, because I genuinely believe that each of you know deep down within your soul why you do what you do. And I am going to encourage you. I am going to encourage you to keep doing the best that you can. Because you see this little sign in the back there? Speaking about Tobago being the greatest little island on the planet. We need every single one of you to do what you do to get us to that point. It is a lofty goal. It may be one that seems huge, unreachable, depending on how you think about it. But I don't believe so. Because I know if you do what you are supposed to do, if you use your God-given talents, then we would be fine. And together, I want you all to say it with me, Tobago will be the greatest little island on the planet. And I thank you in advance because you know why you do what you do. I thank you.